is Shannon. Welcome to Whiskey and Wool. This is my Knitter's Life series, a series that I begun in January of 2021. And yeah, we're actually on episode 21. There must be something. Episode 21 in 2021. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It is a very chilly day here in northern New Jersey where I work and live and craft. I am going to talk to you today about knitting and spinning. Is that all? Yeah. Yes, that's all. Some of it will have, as you will notice, from here on in, from here till the end of the year, I will have holiday themed chats, I guess is the best way to say it. Like things to show, holiday theme things to show, and also chatting about holiday and gift knitting. Lots of gift knitting on my horizon. Well, let me get started with this episode the way I start practically every episode, and that is with a little whiskey chat. And yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be filming that later, and that clip will be inserted here. If you are not interested in watching the whiskey chat, you are welcome to skip ahead, of course. They usually run about 10 minutes, and just me telling you about a whiskey that I have, and I'm trying and tasting, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. Hi, I'm going to do a little whiskey chat. I was about to take my makeup off, and I was like, oh no, I have to do the whiskey chat before I do that. Okay. Today, I'm going to talk to you about this one. It is called Whisky Works Speyside 20 Year. I got this in my advent calendar, my whiskey advent calendar last year, and I would have thought that by now this would no longer be available. And I'll explain why in a minute. Let me just tell you first about Whisky Works. So Whisky Works is a company that does not distill whiskey themselves. Instead, what they do is purchase whiskeys, either small batches or they purchase barrels of whiskey from silent distilleries or things like that, and they do very small bottling of these whiskeys, these unique whiskeys. When I looked at their site to give you information about them, they still have this whiskey available. It runs 150 Great British pounds. It is, which in US dollars is around 2 and change, 210, 212, something like that. 218. I don't know why that's sticking in my head, but I have a feeling that's about what it would cost, not including shipping. I don't think you can get it in the US. So I feel really lucky to be able to do a little tasting of this. The company, as I said, started in 2017. The blender is a man named Greg Glass, who has over 20 years experience in the whiskey industry. They are based in the UK, and they do focus on Scottish product. So not, more global. They do small batches of less than 2,500 bottles, often smaller. I want to say, I looked this up and I think they did about 1,600 bottles of this one. Okay, so that's the company. They don't do their own distilling. Instead, they buy up barrels, and they will either blend or present a small bottling of a particular type of whiskey. So this one is a Speyside distillery that went silent. I think its name was Imperial. I did a little digging and I couldn't find out too much about it, but it sounds like that's what it was, but it's definitely from a distillery that is now silent. It was distilled in 1998. And it was one of the final production runs before the distillery went silent. It spent 20 years maturing, and so 2008 to 2018, and then it was bottled. It was matured in American white oak barrels and then finished in cognac Barriques. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll pop a picture on screen when I find out. So cognac finishing is pretty unusual for whiskey. These particular cognac casks are even rarer. They are from a cognac estate in the southwest of France. And cognac is known for imparting herbal notes to the whiskey, aromas of chocolate, sometimes violet or pansy, brandy, rose, and strawberry. So, not what you'd expect, right, from cognac. When I heard cognac, I was like, oh, it's going to be like fruity, red fruits, plum, maybe grapes and stuff like that. But no, instead it's these sort of sweet herbal and fruity notes. So it's pretty exciting. So I'm excited to try this. So let me show it to you in the glass. This is my tasting glass. You can see it's quite pale. Just want to make sure I'm seeing what you're seeing. Yeah, so it's pretty pale. You can see it up against the neutral background, that it's a kind of a straw color. Surprising again. All right, let's smell. Okay, I get strong chocolate on top there. And there is definitely a berry smell and some sort of floral. I don't know that I would say violet. It might be the rose. Very, very subtle though. There's a green smell too, like grassiness in it, for sure. Okay, let's taste. There's a lot happening in this. So 20-year-old whiskeys, the older they get, the little more complex they get. Usually you get some wood taste in there. Wow, wait, let me see if I can pinpoint what's going on. There's like this creamy, chocolatey, like almost like chocolate milk flavor. Then it has a bright finish, what I would describe as a bright finish, like grassy, herbally finish. There are some flavors in here I cannot pinpoint. Vanilla. Usually you find chocolate and vanilla pretty tightly entwined. It's got a slight butteriness, but I've had ones that are much more buttery. But you would expect some buttery flavors from oak, because oak barrels would impart those flavors. A little bit of citrus, but overarching like this chocolatey, creamy flavors. All right, I'm going to see what the Whisky Works says about it, and then I have an expert opinion separate from the business. Okay, here's what they say. On the nose, sweet, grassy, herbal notes with citrus and floral. I said chocolate. I still think you can smell chocolate. Taste, creamy milk chocolate, golden syrup, ginger, strawberries, and cream. Any other things that they can tell me about it? I guess that's all that they're saying about it. Whiskey notes from another expert taster. On the nose, this is interesting. Very different. On the nose, fresh banana, lemon, melon, hints of violet and jasmine, green tea, mint, some candy floss. Really nice. Little cognac to be found on the nose. Cool. Yeah, banana, remember last 2 weeks ago, I smelled banana and there was no banana listed in the tasting notes. Okay. On the mouth, more fruit and sweetness, soft vanilla and mint again. There's certainly a spicy, buttery, oaky touch that hints towards cognac, but in a balanced way. Hints of ginger and lemon peel as well as light toffee. And the finish is medium long with green banana, sawdust, and a hint of wax. Wow. A hint of wax. It's funny that whiskey is the only thing that I know that descriptors are not appealing often. Like car upholstery. That's an actual taste describer that I've seen for whiskey. Okay. Yeah, it's a really interesting blend. I know it's on the, or blend, not blend, exclusive whiskey. It's certainly never going to, there won't be anything like this again. And in that case, it makes it really unique and special. It is on the high side of pricing. Yeah. But you know what? There's lots of really cool whiskeys out there that are more affordable and nice for you to try. So I do hope you get a chance to taste a whiskey of your own, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was good. I hope I enjoyed it. I'm sure I did. I usually enjoy those chats. Okay. I am going to start off with finished objects. I have a couple to share with you. The first I am wearing, this is Shawlography by Stephen West. And I last time was having some concerns about the border. It is now finished. I have resolved those concerns, and yeah, let me show you. Because I don't have a sweater done. I'm wearing an older sweater. I'll have the information in the box below, but this is the Donna. I don't think it's called the Donna. I think it's just called Donna by Josée Paquin. And I made it several years ago out of some MCN. It's really comfy, cozy, and nice and bright. And I thought it went well with my shawl. So yeah, here is my Shawlography shawl. Like so many others, I had trouble. I struggled with the border. I didn't really want to do the striped, the horizontal or diagonal, not horizontal, vertical to diagonal. It looked diagonal to me, striping. I think the way I liked it best was when people developed a system to do a gradient. And my colors wouldn't lend themselves to that. I would have had to bring in other colors. But what I did instead was I repeated this slip V section right here that appeared earlier in the shawl pattern. See right here. So I just thought, I mean, there's so, like typical Stephen West mystery knit-alongs, there's so much going on in it, and I thought that maybe the best effect was to just repeat one of these really pretty textured borders. And what I did was I took the color that I had used the least, which was this soft turquoise color, this color right here by Vida Lifestyle. This is Spade. It's very, very pretty, like a nice tonal turquoise with little hints of green occasionally. So I took the color that had been used the least, and I decided to use that as the color that went over the top of the stripes, and then I striped in all the other colors. One of the colors, the cream color, I did twice in the border. I also, I didn't talk about this last time when I showed you the shawl, but I chose not to do the brioche. This section right here, where it's golden white stripes, you were supposed to use those two colors, color A and B, as a brioche. And to me, like, I don't really like brioche all that much. It's cool. I think it makes a really interesting, like, I think when it's used in such a way that you are able to see both sides, because the cool thing about brioche is that it's basically a reversible rib, but it's also double knit, so it's very thick. I would equate brioche with comparing quarter inch foam to t-shirt fabric. They are quite different. Like foam is very stiff and immovable, and I think brioche fabric, if you are knitting in just regular wool, that's what you get. You really need to choose, if you want drape with brioche, you really need to choose a drapey, limp sort of yarn. And also I think it didn't make any sense to me to do brioche because you were only going to see one side, and had I done it the way the pattern was written, the one side that would have been seen would have been primarily this cream color yarn. Not that I'm against it, but I was like, I kind of want colors, you know? So I was really delighted to do that. He put in this beautiful mesh pattern as an alternative, and I really love the way it looks. I think it's a better solution than sticking in a 1/4 inch of foam in the middle of your shawl. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people love brioche for different reasons, but those are just a couple things that I noticed about brioche. Having said that, I do have a sweater design that is all brioche, and the design utilized the reversibility of that fabric, and I use very drapey yarn. So anyway, you have to go back in the archives to see that one. That was, I think I did it in 2017 or so. Okay, yeah, so this is done. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. It's right up my alley color-wise. I know it's not very fall-like, but I'm not really into the fall colors anyway. I mean, I like gold, clearly, because I have gold here. But those autumnal colors, I'm not a fan of those for myself. I love looking at them, but I don't want to wear them. They would just sit in my closet. So these are colors that are more in my wheelhouse in terms of colors that I like to wear. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to tell you about it other than to just go through all the yarns. So I did use 2 Vida Lifestyle. Also, by the way, the pattern, the mystery knit along called for 5 full skeins, but you don't use 5 full skeins at all. In fact, some of these I only used half a skein, and one of them, the white one, I used, which was color B for me, I used about 3/4 of a skein. You can check out my yields on my project page. I'm pretty good about cross-checking, and because I want, for my own records, I want to know what what I used and what I have left. But yeah, so these are the yarns I have left. Pretty much a half skein of all of them except the cream color. These are both Vida Lifestyle. I already told you that the turquoise is Spa Day, and this one is Lemongrass. I don't think she's doing these colors. If you find them in her shop, they're leftovers, I think, from when she launched this collection. Vida Lifestyle, she's an indie dyer on Staten Island. She tends to do collections of colors, and I mean, I'm sure she has some colors. I haven't really looked hard, but what I notice is that she does collections, and they are about every 1 to 2 months, and she launches a collection, does a limited quantity, sells it, and then does another collection. So these were from a collection that she did in the summertime, in like July or so. Okay, my cream color is a Stress Knits color called Over Coffee, so Stress Knits. This is Over Coffee. I also used I Smell Snow in it. I had 2 50-gram balls, so this is what I have left of the second 50-gram ball. And I don't really think you can tell where I changed. I don't even know if I could figure it out. I mean, I'm sure the ends are there somewhere if I looked hard. And as I suspected with the 2 colors together, they both had little flecks of turquoise in it, and I figured they would work together and it wouldn't really be noticeable. This is a Chelsea Yarns, one of her chicken colors. This is the colorway Meaghan. Very, very pretty red violet, which is one of my favorite colors. And then last, this is Twinkle Twinkle Baby by Stitch Together Studio. And it was part of her 2020 Advent. I had bought the 12-day rainbow Advent, and the full skein was this color. So pretty. So that's what you're seeing mostly. In this section here, you alternate between two colors, and the two colors that I happen to have that were alternating were these two, and they're the most similar colors in the shawl. And I think what happened was that they created a very blendy fabric where you really, the eye does not differentiate between the two colors. And that's fine. I'm fine with it. I like it. I'm into it. I love these spirals too. I was thinking, like, my designer piece of me was going, oh gosh, that's really cool. It would be really cool to use this technique in a sweater somehow. Just need to think on it, and I'm sure someone else will do it way before I get around to it anyway. I think. But yeah, I really, really love it. So happy with it, and it was just such a fun knit, and it's really like a workshop on different stitch techniques to me. I felt like I learned a lot, some techniques that I'd seen but I hadn't really done before, and just really, yeah, really, really loved it. Oh, and I neglected to add that after the slip V, I did do a picot edge, a picot bind off, as I really like. I have picot bind off on another shawl, and I was wearing it a few days before I started to do, got close to the bind off, and I was like, I really like this edge. I should just do the same edge. So I did, and I made the picots appear where this big open loop stitch was happening. So I lined it up with that column of V's. So it was intentionally lining it up. But yeah, okay, that is my shawlography. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat, in the comments below. I read all your comments. I love hearing from you. Even if it's just to say, hi, loved this. That's cool. I appreciate that. I really love hearing from you, so do let me know. Okay, other finished objects. And I think, yes. Okay, these two are done. I finished a couple stocking patterns this is a stocking pattern of my own design. This is Arctic Winter Stockings. I launched it last Sunday, and it is a collection of 5 different motifs that are that you can knit in, but the rest of the pattern stays the same. It's designed in Loopy Mango yarn, which comes the Dream base, which is their merino worsted. I think it's now just called Dream. I think this might be an older skein, but it comes in 109 yards, and you need a skein and a half to knit it, to knit the body, and then the contrast color is about 20 to 30 yards depending on which of the intarsia or color work motifs you choose to do. This one, I only put one little pom-pom here, but I may go back and add others as ornaments. I just, in the interest of trying to get the stockings ready for publication, I didn't take the time to do that. And the instructions on how to do these frills is in the pattern too. The other motifs are a snowman. And I called this a Sparkle Man. So this one I showed last time. There is also a stag, which I love. This is probably my favorite. This particular sample, I did mess up. I didn't put in enough rows between the stripe and the motif. There should be 4 rows, and I think there's only 2. Yeah, there's 2. And there should be 4 at the bottom. So this one's a little bit shorter than the others. And there is a rabbit, which this was really like a by the seat of my pants finish. Wait, here it is. So this is the rabbit, I used a beautiful novelty yarn by Jessica Rabbits, and it's a bulky knit, significantly thicker than the Loopy Mango, which is the body color, but it's fine. It works fine. I just want you to know, if you buy the pattern and you want to use novelty yarns, maybe you have in your stash, it works out just perfectly. The only different thing that I did, instead of doing 2 stripes, 2 rows for the 2 rounds for the stripes, I just did 1 because it was so chunky. And I was also a little concerned about the yardage. I probably would have not had enough to do the frill, which I haven't attached yet, but the frill is just basically a chain crochet. I love the way this big fat yarn crochets up. It's so pretty. So it's basically, the frill is just a really long chain crochet that you then loop back on itself to create the little frills, and then they get attached to the corner here. And there are instructions in the pattern on how to do that. And then I'll attach some pretty little sparkle pom-poms there. But yeah. Those are the, oh, and there's one more design that I don't have here. I'll put a picture on screen because I did originally head down the path of making these stockings because I was making stockings for my son and daughter-in-law. I had made a stocking for my granddaughter last year when she was about 8 weeks old at Christmas time, and I had promised them that I would make them stockings this year. So I made my son a polar bear, and which I'll put on screen, and I made my daughter-in-law a tree in bright pink on this like Loopy Mango tweedy pink color. They're all in the pattern. You can see the pictures in the pattern and stuff. And yeah. I'm so excited. I will make myself a bear, another bear. I'm planning to use this Bordeaux color with the tweedy pink. So the bear will be the Bordeaux color. It's, oh my gosh, these are so fun. These are just so fun to knit, and they are very fast. You're knitting on a very big needle, 6mm needle, size 10, US size 10. And yeah, you can make it in a couple days. So there's still plenty of time if you haven't chosen a stocking pattern. Yeah, I hope you choose mine. Again, it's called Arctic Winter. Oh, the other thing, I have a promo running right now where you get 20% off, no coupon needed, but by the time this airs, that promo will be gone. So I want to do another promo for you all, for my YouTube viewers, and I'll put a code in. You will need a code. So I'm going to put a code on screen right now. I don't know what it's going to be. I have to figure that out. So that will go on screen here. And yeah, enjoy. I'm going to run that promo through next Sunday. So the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which I think will be the 29th. I think it's the 29th. I'm not positive, but all the info will be on screen, not in the description box, but on screen. So pause and write it down, and yeah. I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoyed seeing those, and if you decide to make them, do make sure you put the pattern, attach the pattern if you're using Ravelry. Oh, and it's only available on Ravelry or through email. You can email me for it, so that information will be down in the description bar, and I can give you the discount via email. You will do a PayPal exchange, and I would then email you a PDF. But yeah, if you do use Ravelry, please make sure you attach the pattern so that I can see your project and cheer you on. And if you need help, yeah, I'm here for you. Okay. Yeah, those are my FOs. Oh, wait, one more thing. I did also include, because the rabbit and the Sparkle Man, Snowman, were novelty fabrics, I did just make a swatch so you could really see what does that pattern look like. And this guy I didn't block all that well, but I think you can see it. You can see how the snowman looks. I'm holding it crooked. There we go. Where I'm saying I didn't block it all that well is like through here. It is symmetrical. It's just the way I knit it and blocked it. Oh, and Sparkle Man is a very inexpensive tinsel chunky yarn called King Cole Tinsel that I got. I think this is a UK brand. I got it in a mystery bag from Ching Fiber that I did about a month ago, that I ordered about a month ago from her. I think it was like a birthday thing that she was doing. So, gonna move on to whips. I am bummed that this thing isn't done yet. My Christmas sweater. This is my Christmas Shifty. I started this pattern last year. I ended up putting it down because I needed to get some gift knitting done, and I decided to pick it back up again at around the beginning of October this year. And you know, Shawlography got in the way. I didn't knit it so consistently, but last time I showed you I had just started on this sleeve. So this sleeve is now done. I'm working a bit on the second sleeve. Every night that I sat down to knit this first sleeve, I was like, I'm going to finish this sleeve tonight. And I didn't. And then the next, I'm going to finish it. Because I know myself, like, I can knit sleeves pretty fast. I usually just need a couple nights to make a sleeve, and then like to make 2 sleeves in a week is pretty easy. I find that the second sleeve knits a lot faster generally, and I'm finding that is the case with this just because I'm not constantly stopping to check to see, should I do a decrease here? Should I wait? What does the pattern say? How does it look? And all of that. So once I figure out the decreases and I have them all, I think you can see the stitch markers. I leave those stitch markers in place, and then as I do the decrease on the other side, I move the stitch marker over, and that helps me keep track of, and it helps me do the decreases in the same place, because when I was a new knitter, I didn't know that, and my sleeves were often different because I just didn't know that there was this tool that you could use. I knew about row counting, but that just seemed too much to me. This works really well, and with a pattern like this where every 2 rows you're doing something different, it's pretty easy to count your rows anyway. So I know it's going to be the sleeves will be exactly identical unless I make some mistake. I do really love the blistering that happens with this mosaic stitch. If you're not familiar with Shifty by Andrea Mowry, this is a mosaic colorwork stitch pattern, which means you're not knitting with both colors at the same time like you do with traditional stranded colorwork. You are knitting one color at a time, and you're slipping the stitches so you can, I don't know if you can see really, it's off screen, way off screen. Yeah. So yeah, you're slipping some stitches so that they'll stay that color, and then knitting other stitches in the same row. Yeah, and it creates sort of this blister effect that when this is blocked, it's going to be more like this. It's really going to grow in the blocking, which is why it's looking a little kind of short-sleeved and short, or like above the wrists sleeves and kind of short. So this will be like this very much more drapey, looser garment than it is right now. But oh my gosh, I'm so close to being done. I will finish this weekend, before Thanksgiving, and yeah, I'm so glad. I can't wait. It's been a long time, over a year of having this on my needles. Very excited to get it off. Yeah, that is one whip. Do I need to tell you about the yarn? I'll tell you quickly. This is stranded Dyeworks Patiserie, which is just a pale, creamy, like soft buff color. Like it's, I don't even know if I could call it buff, or it's a cream that has a very slight tint of pink, and this skein is not as speckled as some of the other skeins. It should have some brown warm brown and gold speckles in it. There's not a lot of speckles in this particular skein. To do this Shifty, this is my third skein. I won't be using it all, but that's generally the amount of yarn that I use for a sweater. Is if I buy fingering weight 400 yards, I know 3 skeins is plenty for me to make a sweater. I did use another stranded color called Christmas is Canceled. This is a Christmas color from last year. I do not think Stranded is making this again this year. I'm actually done with this. I'm not going to be knitting with it anymore. And I only used a quarter of this skein. So this is actually a good amount to make socks, which might happen. The other red, I used a brighter jewel tone, more jewelly toned red, so you can see them together. This one's a little bit more muted than this one. This is an old holiday color from Lavender Lune called Holidrama. I use both reds in the red sections, alternating where I put them, because I didn't think this was enough. And now in hindsight, I kind of wish I just went for it. Because what I could have done is just use this in sleeves, and instead what I'm doing is the reverse. I alternated these through the body, and then in the sleeves I'm only using this. And I don't even think you can tell. Like, if I hadn't told you that, you probably wouldn't have even noticed the difference in these stripes versus, like, say this stripe and this stripe, which are the stranded color. The green is another Christmas color from GarnStories in Germany, an indie dyer in Germany whose work I love. I have a lot of her skeins in my stash. So this is an old one that I got a while ago. It was a mystery destash or something that she was doing. And this is the colorway Grinch. And I remember I got it in the middle of the summer and I was like, oh wow, this is a really bright and interesting green. But it works really well here. As you can see, I don't know if I've used even half of it yet. I'm going to tell you in a second. I'm going to weigh it. Yeah, I've used half. And I do have a few more stripes to go on the other sleeve. So, move her back around. There you go. So you can see. Yeah, so I'm about, on the other sleeve, I'm working on this red stripe right here. So I have 3 more green. So it's probably interesting to note that you would probably just need a little bit more than half a skein if you were going to do 2 colors the way I did. I think this would be really great in like a self-striping Christmas colored yarn as your contrast color. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, anyway. And the whole project is living in my beautiful Fat Squirrel Fibers project bag. I think this is what she calls her Aran size. She just did a launch of her Christmas bags earlier this week. They were really pretty. I resisted. She's going to do what she's calling winter motif bags next week, post Thanksgiving. So if you're interested, they're really excellent quality bags. And she ships very quickly, and I think they're well priced for what they are. I don't remember what her prices are, but you can check her out on Instagram and on the interweb and on YouTube, because she talks about what she's releasing on YouTube. Okay, sorry, I keep looking down because I'm trying to see what's next. All right, I have this is a new cast on, and this is gift knitting. I cast on the Mini Unbearable Hoodie by Max Siram, I think is the way you say his name. He is a indie designer who lives in Quebec, or the province of Quebec in Canada. Yeah, he's a prolific designer. I feel like everyone knows him, but if you don't, he designed a really cute children's sweater with bears, which I'm putting on screen here so you can see, and then I'll tell you about my progress. He designed his using a DK weight non-superwash wool called West Wool, which is Stephen West's yarn. available from Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. Also really, really fast shipping, I find, and expensive though, depending. I mean, shipping has gotten so expensive for everything the past few months. And yeah, anyway, here is my progress. I am not using West wool. I decided that it would be really fun to use a really beautiful variegated yarn for this. And you can see that I have just started the bears. There's their ears sticking out right there. Right at the bottom here. I'm making the smallest size, which is a size 2. This is for my granddaughter. She is wearing size 24 months, and if you have had children recently, or you have children in your life that you buy for small children, you know that 24 months and size 2 are not the same. Size 2 is a little bigger than a 24 month. She just turned a year last month, so I expect this sweater will be a little big. She should get 2 winters out of it, is what is my expectation. Because unless she gets suddenly really big, I mean, girls usually don't grow as big or as fast as boys. So I'm thinking this will probably, she'll be able to wear it this winter, maybe rolling the sleeves up, and it might be a bit baggy, and then next winter, should fit her pretty well, I think, just because she'll be closer to that size 2 size. But yeah, I am using Ching fiber. I don't know if I have all the tags and things, but I can certainly tell you about them. This is Ching fiber in the colorway Penguin. It is, I think it's super soft DK, because it is a pattern written for DK. And then my contrast colors were colors that I bought at a Knit and Escape, actually, from Solitude Wool, and I started to follow them after meeting them on Knit and Escape. This is their Targi DK. I just bought the natural undyed color, and then I also bought black from them. For some reason, it's the same yarn. It's just that this one sells in a over 200 yard put up, and this sells in about 100 yard put ups. So I ended up buying 2 of these and 1 of these. I think this is going to be plenty. I actually don't think I'm going to need more than this single skein of black. But I did buy 2 just in case. Also, black and white yarn, it's so great to have these on hand because they just are such a great classic combo. And, depending on how it goes, I may end up knitting gifts and other gifts for other people out of the leftover yarn. I did pre-wash these skeins. This is the first time I've ever done that. I was worried about putting a black and white together. There was a tiny amount of bleeding in the black, not a lot. I don't really know if it would have gotten the white. I don't know if dye would have entered with the white. I also did pre-wash the Ching fiber, and there was not one bit of dye in the water with this when I pre-washed that. And what I did to pre-wash, I just took the ball band off the skein and left it, big and open. I'll talk about this later, but I just basically got it like this and put it in water and washed it just like I would if I were wet blocking a sweater. And that I rinsed the black until the dye, there was no more dye. There wasn't a lot anyway, but I feel really comfortable about the fact that I will not have any bleeding, nor will my daughter-in-law or son when they wash this. It shouldn't bleed at all, and yeah, it should be really, really comfortable. And it's interesting too, the Targi from Solitude, one of the things that it says in the description is that this is really good for children's knits. So I was like, okay, perfect. That's what I'm getting. So, I hope to have this done soon. It is going to be one of her Christmas presents. And yeah, that's one. I'm also planning on knitting her a toy or 2. So I want to get this done so I can move on to that. I'm being very focused about my knitting. I don't know if you can tell. So long-term viewers, or if you've watched this entire Knitters Life series, you may notice that I'm not knitting a whole bunch of things. I'm trying to be very focused. Like I was very focused on finishing this shawl, and then I became focused on finishing the Christmas sweater, and I cast that on just because I was like, I need more than one thing cast on. Yeah. What I am not going to show you that I did do some work on, or I didn't do any work on actually, sorry. I didn't do any work on the sock that I've been knitting. So I'm not going to update you on that. I'll update you on that later, because I do want to finish them. I was remembering this morning that I really like to have a new pair of socks for New Year's Day, and I was like, oh, these could be my New Year's Day socks. So it's like the idea is that you have a brand new pair of socks that you'd have not worn, and you put them on as soon as you wake up in the morning on New Year's Day, and you wear your New Year's Day socks all day. And it's supposed to be like good luck, and because they're brand new, it's a new start, a fresh start for the new year, and all of that. So I always make sure I gift my children socks. They get them in their stocking usually, and they usually put them on that day. But there's typically more than one pair where I say, okay, make sure you save those for New Year's Day. So we all have new socks for New Year's Day, and we can step into the new year with a new pair of socks. And yeah. So those are my, so not a lot, because I'm really trying to focus and knit one or two things and just get them done, especially right now, because it really feels like there's real deadlines coming. So I have so many things that I want to make for people. And I mean, I'll end up editing and letting some of that go, and that's fine. That's just part of the process. But I do like to really push myself and see what it is I can make for people. I'm really worried about shippers, just because shipping was such a nightmare last year, and it seems like it's gotten worse. Like I guess now it's just one thing that I ordered in September that still hasn't arrived, and it is stuck somewhere in the US postal system. The shipper, the person who shipped it to me, is helping track it down because I don't have any power as the receiver. The person who shipped it is the one with the power, so I'm trying to track it down. It was yarn I was considering for this project. Oh well. I mean, I'll be really happy to see it when it gets here. Who knows when that'll be. I imagine that there's a truck somewhere full of packages that is just not getting processed for whatever reason. Yeah. All right. Spinning. I have spinning. So, to update you, last time I showed you a yarn spinning experiment. I experimented in making a 3-ply slubby yarn where you make one bobbin very slubby thin, and then you do 2 lace weight bobbins, and those become the other 2 plies. So I did 2 lace weight in white, cream color, natural white merino, and then I did a slubby colorful yarn, and then I think I said that I was working on one that was on my spinning wheel and I would show you later. And this is the finished yarn. This is from the most of the fiber in here, the slubby fiber in here, is from Classy Squid Fiber Company, and I don't think she makes fiber anymore. I don't think she's producing for sale anymore. But yeah, these are 2 skeins that I made out of her. There were 2 2-ounce. I had 2 2-ounce batlings, and I was thinking in my remembrance of it, it was mostly white with multiple colors of stellina in it. But actually it was white and gray with multiple colors of stellina, which is why you're seeing a lot of gray in these skeins. There is a little bit of pink because some of the white lace weight on the third, one of the third bobbins had some pink and some blue in it. And I thought that would just be a really cool effect. But I absolutely love these. I mean, I think you can see that there's a little bit of sparkle occurring every so often. They look amazing, and I really love the way, oh, so soft, so soft. So I'm planning, my plan with these, I have some knit collage yarn, some mini skein sets, and I have one skein of some bulkier weight yarn, and I want to combine those into a scrappy throw for my living room. And this is like the time of year I love knitting throws because I'm constantly reaching for one. My cat's usually sleeping on one. And I have guests coming for the holidays, and, you know, the throws that I have are not all that, you know, not big enough really to share. So yeah, my thought was like, let me make some slubby yarn so I can, you know, that will kind of frame these mini skeins that I have from Knit Collage, and just kind of put them all together into a really chunky knit blanket, like or throw, like knit on big needles. So after I spun these and I added up the yardage, I think I still need more. So I had another Classy Squid fiber bat that was 3 ounces, and it's a lot of color. It's very multicolored. So I did the slubby bobbin, as you can see here. It had a lot of stuff in it, this one. You see the little, these things, those are called neps. Oh my gosh, camera focus. There we go. Yeah, so those little cottony things, those are neps. There was a lot of sparkle in here. And I think this came out maybe a little more. I mean, I won't know until I soak it, do a wet soak at the end and I apply it. But I think this came out a little chunkier. I really wanted the blanket to be mostly white, but it doesn't seem like it's going to end up that way. It's going to be more multicolor, and there will be a lot of white colored base in it. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to get started on that probably after New Year's. This color, in case you're interested, was called Parisian Confectionery, and the white gray with metallic is called All the Mirrors of the World, which is a reference to the book Dr. Strange and Mr. Norrell, or is it the other way? Mr. Strange and Dr. Norrell? By Susanna Clark. But yeah. More spinning that I did. After finishing a Stephen West knit, I was like, I think I do want to do the Hyber knit along, but I don't want to do... I don't want to buy yarn for it because I have so much beautiful stash, and I had recently come back from Rhinebeck and I picked up some yarn there, and I was like, what can I use? And I looked through, I kept remembering these 2 skeins of hand spun that I did. So these are older hand spuns that I've just been really waiting for the right project to come along, and I thought that they hang well together. These are both spun from Frost Yarns or Frost Fiber. I don't remember whether it's Frost Yarns or Fiber, but Nicole Frost, she's on Instagram, and she has a business in Southern California. These are both spun from her gorgeous bats, and I think they were both mysteries. I ended up spinning this one first, and I did a fractal method so that it would naturally self-stripe. And then I got this one as a mystery club color, and I spun them in the same method. They're both 3-ply. And then I ordered another one on a whim earlier this year, and it ended up being this color, these colors. It's still a little damp, so I haven't twisted it up or caked it. But coincidentally, it really feels like the continuation of these other two colors. Like these all kind of make a really beautiful gradient. And the Hybrid Knit Along pattern calls for a spin cycle. So in the dream state, the DK weight. So I thought, I'm going to use my own hand spun, and aren't these gorgeous? Now I just need to figure out the solid color. And in Stephen's pattern, the solid color is his own wool, the tandem DK. But I remembered that I had bought some of this beautiful Wing and a Prayer. I think this is technically worsted weight. I want to say it's Wensleydale, the Happiest Yarn. It's called. Oh, it's a blend of Shetland, Clune Forest, and Cornwall. But it's so pretty. I think it's indigo dyed. I'm not sure. She calls it blue jeans. Yeah. So I actually have 3 skeins of this, so it should be plenty to use for the solid color. But I mean, how pretty is that going to be? I'm so excited about this. Yeah, so this will be a Boxing Day cast on. I'm not going to pressure myself. We're often really tired on Boxing Day. So we'll see. I'll see how I feel. But everything's ready to go. And that was why I spun this for that project, so that I would have the 3 colors of wool. And this particular bat actually spun up a little bit more chunky than those other 2, but I mean, it's for a shawl. I think it'll work out perfectly fine, but I'm so excited about this natural gradient that just kind of occurred through no intention of Nicole's and none of my intention either. I just, was ordering club colors from her, and yeah, just ended up really, really liking this. It's so pretty. Oh, I should show it to you up close too, so you can really see all the colors and the way that it spun. It just spun so beautifully. And I will get a little bit of striping going on with it. I actually, as I have been spinning more, I've learned that I don't particularly like spinning bats because it does feel like they should be more of a novelty yarn, and I don't knit with novelty yarn very much. Like, I'm more often knitting with smooth fingering weight, to be honest. Most of my knitting is fingering weight yarn, sometimes DK, because that's what I like to wear. So I like to wear fingering weight, and DK's fine sometimes, but mostly I want to wear fingering weight. Like, those I can wear the most. Yeah, okay. The only thing I have left, and I have a little tiny bit of lifestyle, but the only other thing I have left to show you is a little bit of Stashquisitions, which I know I got off of Rhinebeck. I had a Knit and Escape retreat, virtual retreat, and then right after that, a month later, was Rhinebeck. There were lots of dollars spent at both of those events. But there was a couple projects, or there was a project that I really wanted to make sure I had the yarn for, and that was for the Daily Pullover by Paula Pereira for the Quillavit knit along that Caddy Jacks are doing. You know that I adore those women. So I did purchase some 3 skeins of linen quill. I have them all caked because I am ready to cast on as soon as I get through some of the gift knitting and stuff that I'm doing. Yeah, and I ended up buying the colorway Kettle Black. Linen quill is by Pearl Soho, if you're not familiar, and Pearl Soho, and it is a Highland wool, 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. Caddy Jacks, if you watch them, wax poetic about the fabric. I'm anxious and interested in seeing how I like it. It is a fingering weight yarn, and I have already swatched. I got gauge. yeah, so really I'm ready to cast on, and I am really actually itching to cast on, but yeah, I just want to get this off the needles, and then that may be what I cast on next. I have another thing that I really want to cast on too for me, that, I don't know, I'm torn between those two. More stashquisitions though. I pre-ordered in October from Pancake and Lulu some fiber and yarn based on Squid Game. So these are the colors that you see if you watch the show. These are the colors inspired by the area of the set where the players were walking up, up and down the stairs, heading to the field where they were going to participate. But yeah, I think this is so beautiful. This will be a fun spin. I'm not sure how I want to spin it yet. Whether I want to, do this a striping like this, or if I want to do something that Barbara pulls. I'm not really sure. But that's pretty. And then I also ordered yarn. I actually ordered the mini skein set, but I ended up getting a skein of sock yarn, which I was kind of torn between the two. So I was like, okay, this is the universe saying, just take this. Just take this. So yeah, here's what it looks like. Isn't this so pretty? Yeah, so Amy, if you're watching, don't worry about it. I'm fine with the sock skein, even though I ordered minis. It's totally fine. Sometime maybe I will, I was excited about the minis because they were solids, and I don't have a lot of solid minis. I have a lot of variegated and speckled minis. So, but cool. This is cool. Isn't it so pretty? Oh, looks great. I have a feeling it might self-stripe. Could be fun. Yeah, so that, and I have one more stashquisition. I could not resist this. I ordered, the Grocery Girls did a special collaboration with Shirley Bryan Yarn, and they did a deconstructed fade. Yeah. Shirley Bryan Yarn and Grocery Girls. It is a 75/25 sock yarn. And if you're not familiar with Shirley Bryan and her deconstructed fades, she sells them in 2 skein sets, 250-gram skein sets. And yeah, this is what you get. I caked them. They don't come this way. They come skeined, which I can pop a picture on. But I caked them just so I could see how they looked. It came as a kit, so you get the 100 grams of sock yarn, and then you get 2 patterns. Sorry, I'm just going to reach down. You get a pattern for a hat and pattern for a sock, so there is a good image of how that yarn knits up into a sock. And the idea is that you use 1 skein per sock. And this is the pattern booklet that the Grocery Girls put together. And I think the hat was designed by Jody and the socks were designed by Tracy. Yeah, I don't know which one I'm going to make. And I don't know that I'm going to do that anytime soon. But I mean, look, how could you not? Just love that. I love that so much. It also came with a really cute little stitch marker. Like a snowflake. I think it's a snowflake. Yeah, sparkle snowflake. A Grocery Girls snowflake sticker. And a secret recipe, which I won't show you because they didn't show it on their podcast, so I feel like I shouldn't show it on mine. But it's definitely like looks like a holiday treat that I may try later on in December. We'll see. Yeah, that's it. Those are all the things I have to show you. How am I doing on time? Not bad, not bad. So lifestyle, what I just wanted to talk to you about about lifestyle is that this is a time of year that a lot of people get really stressed out. And we've already had a pretty tough, year and a half, 2 years of stress due to, well, not quite 2 years, but close, due to the pandemic. So do just, take it easy on yourself. Do some selfish knitting. Make some things, take some time to just do things for you during this holiday season, because I know especially women and especially mothers, we put our children first ahead of us, and you've got to restore your own bank too. So make sure you do that. Take some time, whether it means whatever that means to you, whether it means putting on some headphones to watch your favorite podcast or a good movie or a TV show and getting some selfish, knitting. It's not selfish, it's self-care. It's self-care. And it's important to your own well-being, and you'll be a better parent and a better partner and a better employee and all of the, a better friend if you have, you have restored yourself. So do make sure you take some time for yourself. And I just want to conclude with telling you a little bit about what you can expect from me over the next month. I have done Vlogmas for the past 3 years. Last year I cut it short because I was a little upset about a couple things that had happened, and it just it was stuff that happened related to the Vlogmas, but also things not related. And so this year I want to try something new. I think what I'm going to do is collect footage throughout the week, and then every Sunday post a video. So starting with next Sunday, so a week from today, I will be, just clips of what's happening, and I might talk for 5 or so 10 minutes either at the beginning or at the end, but it's going to be more, the next 4 Sundays will be very Vlogmas-like, with not my usual music, but with some holiday music and some holiday scenery. I'll take you along when I do anything. I don't have a lot of plans, just because there's still a pandemic happening. But if I end up, doing anything holiday related, I will film it and include it. And certainly, holiday festivities that happen around my home and in my office atmosphere, if there is anything holiday related that I can share with you, I will. And yeah, so you can look forward to that. I hope you will enjoy. I'm intending to make them rather short, so 30 minutes or maybe less, hopefully less. We'll see how it goes. I have a few things planned I'm excited to share with you. The first one will mostly be about my Advents. So I'm going to go over my Advents, my countdown purchases. So I have several. You can look forward to that. I hope you will join me for my countdown Vlogmas videos. So I will be back with a regular episode probably after Christmas. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't believe I will do a regular episode, but I'll see how it goes. There might be about 3 weeks from now, I might have some, significant amounts of knitting that I want to show you ahead of gift knitting, giving things away. I hope all that made sense. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for taking some time and watching my channel and subscribing and commenting. I deeply appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that if you are in the US and you're celebrating Thanksgiving this week, I hope you have a wonderful time and stay safe, and don't try not to stress. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just it's family time, and family time can be stressful, so expected and manage your own expectations. I know you know what to do. So I will see you again soon. Bye.